I am ranked number one. One! That means I'm the best.
Jose Benavidez has been shot. He was injured during a shooting. He is a welterweight prospect. He was walking out early in the morning in Phoenix, Arizona. He was shot in the leg, but his injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. 24 years of age, he's 25-0. I saw him outpointing Francisco Santana on the Terence Crawford-Victor Postol undercard, and I wasn't hugely impressed. In fact, I remember thinking the other guy got the decision, if that's the same fight. He's a 6-year pro, and he is an interim, or has been an interim WBA champion. I don't know if he still is. Manny Pacquiao is training for his November return against Jesse Vargas. He's training in the Philippines so he can continue his duties as a Senate in the Philippines. That could be another reason why HBO dropped it, because if he's over in the Philippines, can he do the whole promotional thing? You see, that's the thing, man. The Philippines is a country that needs attention if you're going to be a politician over there. I don't think you can serve the Philippines and try and hold on to a high ranking as one of the best boxers in the game. Something has to give, Maybe HBO are seeing that Pacquiao is becoming a little bit of a mercenary, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a few mercenaries in boxing. I think Floyd was a bit of one, David Haye was a bit of a mercenary, Miguel Cotto, Triple G is becoming one, Canelo, but you have to run your own shit. If you're going to do that continuously, like, you got to at least have your own setup. You can't do it on someone else's setup because it's their reputation at stake. Freddie Roach won't want to let the world there's any dissension in the camp, and there probably isn't, but I bet you any money Freddie isn't happy with Manny being in the Philippines. He'd rather him be at the wild card where they usually do what they're doing. I bet you Bob Arum ain't happy about it either, but what can Bob do? He's one of the few attractions Bob has left on the roster. Bob has to grin and bear it, and so does Freddie. He lost the WBO belt to Floyd Mayweather, and it's ended up in Jesse's hands, and he wants it back. Jesse is coming off a career best win against Saddam Ali, an undefeated New York welterweight. Pacquiao is currently training with Boo Boy Fernandez. He's been hitting the speed bag in the Olorde Gym 5 Ecom Center in Pasay, Philippines. I'm back, he added. Vargas is saying, that the HBO commentary team have been disrespectful. I think Jim Lampley in particular, he's saying, in writing off his chances against Pacquiao. Not only have HBO dropped the fight altogether, pay-per-view and any other format, the fight is scheduled to take place at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Thomas and Mack Center, instead of a major arena on the Las Vegas Strip. So, since the Antonio Margarito fight, Pacquiao has been fighting at a big arena on the Strip. So this is another demotion since 2010. The contract is over, said Bob. The fact that they passed means the contract is over. That's what he's saying. They can't pick and choose which fights they're going to distribute. They're either in breach of contract or they've ended the contract. My feeling is, based on my legal background, is that the contract is terminated. So it's not that bad a thing. Pacquiao is now a free agent, essentially, if what Bob is saying is true. And open it up to take on Al Heyman promoted fighters. No, Al Heyman advised fighters. Typo. Bob will have to be a lot more flexible now, without the HBO muscle behind him. They can't pick and choose at this stage. Heyman has Thurman, Porter, Spence, Danny Garcia, and he is still a business partner with a certain Mr. Mayweather. And if you think Bob and Manny are done pursuing that fight or writing it off in their minds, you're absolutely crazy. Kell Brook looks like his welterweight days are done. Apart from Tim Bradley, Bob has nothing. He has to get on side with Al, or doesn't he? Have I got that wrong? Roman Gonzalez. Roman Gonzalez is training up in Big Bear. High altitude training is the order of the day. The Summit High Altitude Training Facility in Big Bear, which is run by Abel Sanchez, hosted a media workout this week featuring WBC flyweight world champion Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. According to the Ring magazine, the #1 pound for pound.
Pound for pound, round for round, a bound to astound, knock you to the ground.
The #1 pound for pound boxer in the world is moving up in weight to challenge WBC super flyweight world champion Carlos Principe Cuadras for the world title, his 4th belt in his 4th weight class. Gonzalez went high altitude in preparation for his fight last year against Brian Viloria, where he performed really well. A really good performance, has to be said. Exceptional performance. After initially having a hard time adjusting to the altitude, this is what he confessed himself this week. For this fight against Cuadras, he feels like he has had the best conditioning of his career. He loves it up in Big Bear, the home base of Gennady Golovkin. He wants to train there for all his future fights. He now calls the Summit his home. Cuadras has a 75% knockout ratio, and he's fought as high up as junior featherweight. Gonzalez is dedicating this fight to his mentor Alexis Arguello, who is a free weight champion himself. Gonzalez wants to go one better. Cuadras has been talking a lot, but Gonzalez says he doesn't take it personally. If that's what he has to do to pump himself up, it's no problem for Chocolatito. I'll be ready on September the 10th. Cuadras is undefeated. Gonzalez respects him and will not be taking anything for granted. He recognizes it will be a tough fight. Golovkin is getting a little more vocal these days. Has laid down the gauntlet to Canelo Alvarez, Chris Eubank Jr., Billy Joe Saunders and Carl Froch. He's expressed frustration at fighters name-dropping him, but not fighting him. He's saying they're acting like clowns who have no respect for the sport. Maybe so, but you know, we didn't even hear a decent reason why the Lara fight couldn't happen. He was calling you out. He's an elite fighter, in my opinion. Let's not even talk about the Ward debacle with Abe Sanchez and Golovkin. But he does have a point. But fair is fair. He reiterated that he wants Saunders' WBO belt, but Saunders will not defend against him.